Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Internet world. Um, I think we made it live. And this is Jean Favor again. I am a parent liaison with the Great Start Collaborative and Parent Coalition of Charlevoix, Emmett, and Northern Antrim counties. And we're here sharing information to our communities about different organizations in the area who are supporting families and children in all sorts of different ways. And so today we have a special guest with us from the Good Samaritan Family Services in Ellsworth. We have Stacy Nelson, and he knows everything there is to know about the Good Sam. And we did have oh, I lost me. There we are. We did have Gail Kroon on a few months ago talking about Moms and Tots a little bit and what she does over there. So if you haven't watched that live, she goes into detail a little bit. That's on our Facebook, and that'll be up on our website as well. So Stacy can fill us in on everything else. So welcome, Stacy. Thank you for coming today.
Well, Gene, thanks so much for having me on. Really appreciate this.
We're excited to hear from you. And so you've been with the Good Samaritan for quite a few years. If you want to fill us in a little bit about your background and kind of how you got there and where you're going.
Yeah, great. So I've been with Good Sam for I think we're starting our seventh year now. I started off with one of their programs called His House, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But kind of came to the area. I was pastoring a local church down in Central Lake, and it was one of those things where neither place was really looking for a full time employee, but both part time places it made work, and so we moved to the area and just love the area, and I'm just so blessed to be able to do what I do because my position has really kind of evolved from working with this program of His House to becoming the executive director, and now I kind of oversee the entire organization, and from my perspective, it's really cool because I get to see all of the different irons that we have in the fire, whereas sometimes you only get to see a little bit here and there. And so I get to see the big picture, and I just love it. So.
Yeah, it sounds like a big job. I feel like when I first moved here, which was maybe, well, I guess I didn't pay much attention until I had kids to the Good Sam and what they were doing down there. But once my kids were little, it just like I learned a little bit about what they were doing, then I learned a little bit more, and then I was like, oh my gosh, and it's also this piece, and there's this piece. So when you say the big picture, there is a pretty big picture of what the Good Sam does over there for families. So I don't know if you kind of want to break it down into like segments and kind of just fill
Yeah,
us in on how that works and how would we access that.
yeah. So maybe I should even start going back a little bit to where it started and everything because it's really a neat story. And if you don't know her, everybody in the whole world should meet Mary Peterson, and she is just the largest heart you've ever met. And she had her neighbors, just like you and I have neighbors. She had neighbors who were hungry, and that sort of opened up this inner dialogue with her and God of just saying, "How can I help?" And 32 years later, here we are, Good Samaritan Family Services. As it started out in the back of her van and her garage, feeding who she could when she could. Now we're serving 15 to 1,600 people a month, which equals out to over 400 families in Ellsworth, or not in Ellsworth, but in the area that we're helping. And so it really is a big picture because there's a lot of different things that we are involved in. The first and primary one is the food pantry. That's the heartbeat of our organization. That's where it all got started, of just sensing the need of food insecurity in our area. And even to this day, I mean, there's 1 in 5 kids that do not know necessarily where their next meal is coming from, and that's not a Detroit problem or a Flint problem. That's right here in our own backyard. That's a rural northern Michigan problem that there's a food insecurity issue going on. And so we asked the question, how is it that we can help with that? And so our food program, our food pantry is just it's unique in several ways. You can go there, and I think one of the thing that really separates us from every other place is, and not to say that other places don't do this well, but I think we do it very well, is that we treat everybody with dignity and respect. When you come in there, we ask for as little information as possible. We don't ask for any financial information or anything like that. It's basically just your name and your address, making sure that you're there to get some food. And every now and then we might have a recall, so we might need to get a hold of you, that sort of thing. But we don't try to dive in and try to get into all of the details, and because sometimes that can be very off-putting to people, and we just
Mm-hmm.
want to love on people, show them respect, and so we do that from the moment they get in, and they go down, they get to choose their own food. Some places it's just, here's your box of food, have at it, good luck to you, burn whatever you don't need, right? But this is like a sense of ownership, really. You got a cart, you've got a grocery aisle, you pick out what you like, what you don't like, and
Oh yeah, I've gone
um,
in there before, and it's just like entering a grocery store,
yeah,
and everything's
exactly.
set up so you can pick your selections, and everybody, like you said, everybody's always very welcoming, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's great.
and I think it takes that I don't know. There's an anxiety sometimes if you're in a place where you need to go to a food bank, and I think we've all been there. I know I have. I remember eating bologna for an entire month one time, but nonetheless, there's an anxiety about it. There's a fear sometimes that can be hard, and so we really try very hard to remove any obstacles that might create that sort of thing. And so that's our primary program of Good Samaritan, but there's so many other things, and so what
So
some of the things
before
that
you pass on from that, so
yeah,
just to kind of clarify, I'm just imagining myself going in there, a stranger to the Good Samaritan. I know there's a food pantry.
yep,
I need food.
right,
So now I know I don't need to like give a whole lot of personal information or, sensitive information that I might not be comfortable sharing.
yep,
So what does it look like? I go to the Good Samaritan food pantry, and
yep.
is it open? Are there limited hours? How do I find out how to get there? How do I know how often can I go? Do I have limits of how much I can take home? Like how
Yeah.
do I know what I can do?
So those are great questions, and I love them. So our food pantry is located first and foremost at 9746 Main Street in Ellsworth, and so we're just outside of downtown, just a little bit on the north side. You can't miss us though; it's right on the main drag. And basically, what you're going to do is you're going to come, you're going to find a place to parking. Our parking is a little sketchy, but that's kind of the fun of it too. And there's two doors. There's one that goes to our resale side, which I'll talk about in a minute. But then there's our food pantry door, and you're just going to go in there, and you'll be greeted right when you come in. There'll be somebody to greet you and walk you through the process because there are a lot of ins and outs. You're asking some great questions, and some of those questions are pretty specific to your family. So, for instance, if you have a larger family of five or more, we offer more food to those larger families because obviously you've got more mouths to feed. So the best thing is come in between 10 and 3:30, Monday through, or no, I'm sorry, Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
It's a little bit different. So Tuesday is a little bit later. So Tuesday we're open till 4:30. Wednesday through Friday we're open till 3:30, and we're open till 1:30 on Saturday. So
Okay.
sorry, it's a
We'll put
little
all
bit
that. We'll put a link to the website, and we'll put the
yeah,
hours in the comments. Yep, so people can pull that up when they when they come watch.
exactly.
Yep.
It's all on the website. We can get you there. But one of the neat things about that too is so when you come in, you'll put your information in, and you'll have somebody who will walk you through the process if you've never been there before. But you'll also get a $5 coupon for our resale store. And so the reason we close a half an hour early every day is because our resale store stays open a half an hour early. So after folks are done in our food pantry, then they can go over and spend that $5 over in the resale side to be able to get clothing or maybe a household good of some sort that they may need.
And I know
You know,
$5 goes a long way at the Good Sam resale.
it does.
They're always cutting
Frankly,
you deals too. Like it's such a
yeah,
beautiful store, and it's well taken care of, and the volunteers and staff there are amazing. So
absolutely. Yeah, they're good. So yeah, so for getting food, you just come on in, and I know that can be a little intimidating, but we're really there to help, and anything we can do to help you, that's good. And so you may even find that you want to talk to somebody while you're there because if you're finding yourself at a food pantry, you might have some big life things going on, and so. We do have a chaplain on staff that is right there and able and willing and happy to talk with you if that's something that you're interested in as well. And he's right over on the food pantry side there too. Some other things that you'll find in the food pantry that might be because maybe you're thinking this is just food, but it's not. We also have toilet paper. We have some personal hygiene products. Um, we get a lot of fruits and vegetables from the local farmers.
Mm.
We get all kinds of good food. We have meat that's frozen. So it's not just here's your box of cereal and your can of corn. There's really some good stuff in
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. It sounds like a great
there.
place to go. So you can go when you come in and talk to the staff, they'll let you know about, when you can come back. Is it a monthly visit or
Yeah,
is it?
typically normal size families can come once a month, depending on how our supplies are
Mhm.
going. We might up that to twice a month. One of the differences is for seniors, we allow our seniors to come anytime they need food, and so they can come every week if they want to.
Awesome.
But typically, we'll load somebody up with enough stuff for a month, and that tends to do pretty good. So,
Yeah, wonderful. It sounds like a great place
yeah,
to go, and it's connected right
yeah,
to the resale shop, so you can go get a deal and donate,
yeah.
what you want to donate as well over there. So,
Yeah, yeah. So the resale shop is sort of our funding side of the food pantry, which, because of the relationships that we've built over the years, either with farmers or with our food bank up in Mana, up in Petoskey, we're able to purchase food at about, for every dollar we spend, we can buy about 5.25 pounds of food with that.
oh
And
wow.
so when you just start to do the math on that, it's like here's a $5 bill. Well, there's over 20 pounds of food right there, and that's a lot to put your mind around. So what we do is we take donations. We ask our public and our friends and our neighbors to bring in the things, the gently used items that are still resellable. That's kind of key right there. We're not in the business of removing your trash, and I do apologize for that. But that we are trying to fund a food bank here, and so that's kind of the goal. And so you bring in your gently used things over there. We turn that into food, and there's more that goes on over there though, because it is a really cool store. If you're into thrift stores and that sort of thing, that's an awesome place. But there's more that goes on over there too. Over on that side of the building, we also have a utility assistance program, which I want to make sure all of our listeners know about as well. Because this year, if you've watched the news at all, they're speculating that the heating costs are going to be out of this world. And so, one of the things that Good Sam is able to do is help with some financial assistance in regard to heating and utility costs. So, if you have a water bill, if you have an electric bill or a gas bill that maybe you're about to get shut off, or even wood, if you need wood because you heat with wood and you don't know, you just can't afford that. Come talk to us because we are able to help. We have built relationships that we can do that. Um, what you'll do for that is you'll come right into there's a back office and you'll talk to Kelly Seamy. She is a person who specializes in working with families who have utility assistance needs, and she'll take all the information that she needs, get copies of bills and that sort of thing, and see what we can do. Now I'll say we are not the largest organization in the world, so we can't pay everybody's bill 100%. But what we can try to do is stop those shutoffs. We can try to work with other organizations to help get these bills paid down to make them manageable. So
Awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't even know about that part of the Good Sam, so thanks for sharing. We'll definitely get that word out.
absolutely, yeah. The other thing that goes on over on the resale side that I just absolutely love, and it kind of touches my heart in a very specific way, is a program called Sammy's Shoes. And we believe that no school age kid should have to worry when they're sitting in school about whether their feet are cold or wet. And so, what Good Sam is committed to doing is putting on the feet of kids a pair of new shoes. I'm talking brand new, not secondhand. These are brand new shoes, one pair of shoes and one pair of boots for anybody who needs them for those kids. Because it's just so important. I remember when I was a kid having duct tape on my shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and it was it's not only like difficult to study, but there's also just this like social thing. You're not even close to being a cool kid with duct tape on your shoes, right? And how important it is to fit in and to socialize and that sort of thing. So that's a bit that one's kind of near to my heart right
Yeah, that's pretty special.
there.
So anybody can go in, same thing, talk to them, say, I mean, I've seen the closet there in the back, so it's just let somebody know that you're looking for shoes and they'll hook you up with those.
Exactly. Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have this little fly that's going back and forth across my
I
camera.
saw something. I'm like, "Lord,"
I like of all the space in my house, that's where he's got to be. But
right in front of the camera.
so we've got um, the food pantry, which is a huge, like that's basically why the Good Samaritan started, and then the
Yep.
resale that kind of keeps everything afloat, and with the utility assistance and the shoes for kiddos, and there's still other things going on. With the Good
There's still other things.
Samaritan.
Yeah, it's kind of neat because that's just one of our buildings. We have three buildings, and so another building that helps fund is our used furniture store. And so if you go right downtown of Ellsworth, right at the corner there, there's our used furniture store. And so that's kind of a two-pronged thing. So sometimes there's needs a family might have. Let's say there's a fire and you need a couch because now you're in somebody's garage or something like that. You don't know what life may throw at you. We're able to help with those bigger items like couches and table and chairs and that sort of thing. If you just move to an area and you're just getting set up, it's perfect for that sort of thing. But what that also does is it helps us buy, again, food for our food pantry. So that's one of our other buildings. The other building that does a whole lot, and Gail was here previously and talking to you about Moms and Tots, but it's our Family Center. And our Family Center houses two programs. The first is the Moms and Tots program, which Gail shared a lot about you. But basically what has happened with Moms and Tots is at our food pantry, we saw that women and children were coming in there and they needed some more specialized things. So, your diapers, your wipes,
Mm-hmm.
your car seats, cribs, all that sort of thing. And so our board just eventually said, hey, we need to do something here, right? And that's kind of been the guiding philosophy of our ministry is we see a problem, how
What's the
can we
need?
help, right?
Yep.
And so thus Moms and Tots is born. And so Moms and Tots is a great place where women and children can go and get those resources, the diapers, the wipes, the cribs, the car seats. And more importantly, I think, than anything, it's just that time to have adult conversations with other adults. I mean, if you've been around your kids all week long and that's the only interaction with humans you've had, you got to go talk to somebody else, right? And so when you walk into Moms and Tots, it's so warm and so welcoming. There's teddy bears, there's toys for the kids, it's just comfortable for you to be in there. The other side of that though is with the guys, with the dads, because as our philosophy is, we see a problem, what can we do? We saw another problem is we didn't see a whole lot of dads showing up, or it'd be a different dad, different months, and it was about that time that our nation also started seeing this as being an issue with the fatherhood crisis. And so you see organizations like fatherhood.org starting to come out, and so we said, hey, what can we do about this as well? And so that's where His House, which is the second program under the Family Center, comes into play. And that's really focusing on the dads and focusing on fathers and helping to engage the men in our area to be the great dads we know they can be. We know that we're not going to have perfect marriages, but we can engage those dads. We know that their role is so important in the lives of their kids. When we look at statistics, it's incredible to look at the difference between a kid who's got a father in their life and a kid that doesn't, and it'll blow your mind. So that's our Family Center. That's what we have going on over there, and under both of those things, there's just so much more. There's different programs. I mean, we have a GED Access. We have a Willing to Wait program. We've got cribs, car seats. We've got a wood shop, and we do axe throwing. I mean, there's all kinds of great things. The best thing to really do is just come over and say, hey, how can I be involved in this? And so that's where we're at.
Yeah, not enough time to say everything
Exactly.
there is. So
Yeah.
come, go meet. So the Family Center is open Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Tuesday through Thursday.
Tuesday through Thursday,
So,
okay.
yep. And then the first Tuesday of the month, we're open later. We're open until 7. So
Okay.
10 to 7 on that first Tuesday of the month. Everything else is 10 to 4, though.
Okay, and all the information will be on the website, and I'll put that in the comments so people can
Awesome.
find
Yeah.
that out. Awesome. Yeah, it's a fun place to go. I've been glad to be able to connect with the Good Sam and work together to support families in our community. So The one thing I just want to like kind of ask, so let's say I mean, from the way you're talking, and obviously the Good Samaritan is a faith-based program. So what if I'm from a different faith, or if I'm not of any faith? Am I safe to come here? Am I welcome
You
to show up?
absolutely. We welcome anybody of any faith. That is something that we don't really pry into a whole lot. Our belief on that is we care about you as a person first, and we're going to get to know you first. And if we have that conversation down the road, we're going to have that as friends. And it's not going to be, we have no requirements. You don't have to sit through any sort of religious classes or anything like that in order to receive services. It is open to the public for free every time.
Wonderful. It sounds like a
Yeah.
great place to go. I love the mission of seeing a need and trying to fill it, and I
Yep.
think we need more of that in our community. So, is there anything else? I mean, that's a lot. So, is there anything else that you feel like you missed, or we need to just touch on before we sign off?
I'm sure there is. One thing I will mention though is that we are always looking for new volunteers.
Hmm.
And you may only have a couple hours in a week, and you may seem like, man, I can't even hold my own life together. How am I going to volunteer? But it's amazing to me the rewards and the benefit that you get, or that I get out of it. When you just spend an hour or two, can love it on somebody else. The benefits are so great. And so I would just encourage all of your listeners out there, if you have an hour or two, come in and say, hey, I've got an hour or two. I'd love to do something. And so we'll put you, because we can't do what we do without our
Hmm.
volunteers. We have an amazing support staff and crew of volunteers that do. I'm just blown away by them all the time.
Wonderful. Okay, the call is out, everybody. We've got
There you
somewhere
go.
for you to go help. Well, that is great, Stacy. I appreciate you coming in and explaining all of that to everyone out there and to me as well. I learned some things today, and I'm really glad to know and pass that along with our families. And hopefully, you get to see some of us at his house in Moms and Tots and the Good Samaritan resale shop and the food pantry and the furniture store someday soon. So I'm going to sign off, and I hope you have a great day and a great day to everybody out there listening to us as well.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.